You've been told you bone broth was the miracle cure for aging muscles, the secret weapon against weakness and stiffness after 60. But what if I told you that the real food that rebuilds your muscles faster, restores strength, and helps you move like you used to, isn't in that pot of simmering broth at all? It's right on your breakfast plate, humble, overlooked, and probably already sitting in your kitchen. Before I tell you what it is, let me take you back to a story that changed how I see aging forever. My name is not important, but what I went through might be what you're feeling right now. When I turned 63, I began to notice something strange. My legs would tremble when I stood up from the couch. Carrying groceries suddenly felt like lifting bricks. I used to love walking my dog every morning, but one day, halfway down the street, I had to stop because my thighs felt like they were made of wet sand. I went to the doctor expecting a vitamin deficiency or maybe fatigue, but he looked at me and said, "You're experiencing sarcopenia, the natural loss of muscle with age." That word hit me like a punch to the gut. I thought I was healthy. I drank bone broth, ate soups, even took supplements that promised to keep my muscles young. Yet here I was, struggling to open a jar of peanut butter. That night I couldn't sleep. I sat in my kitchen, staring at that steaming cup of bone broth I had made out of habit, and wondered if everything I believed about aging was wrong. The next morning, I decided to learn. I started reading medical journals, watching lectures from universities like Harvard and Copenhagen, and even spoke to a nutritionist friend. And what I discovered changed my life. Bone broth is good, yes. It has collagen, it supports your joints. But when it comes to rebuilding muscle tissue, it doesn't give your body the amino acids you truly need to repair and grow strong muscle fibers. You need something richer in leucine, lysine, and high-quality protein that triggers what scientists call muscle protein synthesis, the exact process that keeps your body young, mobile, and powerful. And the food that does this best, especially for people over 60, is not meat, not shakes, not expensive powders, it's eggs. Yes, the simple egg. The one food that quietly sits in your fridge holding the secret to your strength. Now before you roll your eyes and say, "Eggs? Really?" Listen to this. The Journal of Aging and Physical Activity published a study showing that seniors who eat a high-protein breakfast rich in eggs have significantly better leg strength and mobility than those who rely on traditional morning meals like cereal, toast, or oatmeal. The reason is simple. Eggs contain all 9 essential amino acids in the perfect balance your muscles crave, along with vitamin D, B12, and choline, which help your nerves fire properly and your metabolism stay sharp. When you eat 2 or 3 eggs in the morning, you're not just eating breakfast. You're sending a signal to your body that says, "Stay strong, keep building." And I can tell you this from experience. The difference is unbelievable. Within 3 weeks of switching my breakfast from bone broth and toast to eggs cooked with olive oil and a few vegetables, I could feel power returning to my legs. My morning walks got longer. My grip strength improved. Even my posture changed. My neighbor, 81 years old, asked what I was doing because she noticed I stopped using the railing when climbing the stairs. I told her, "Forget bone broth. Start with breakfast." Scientists at the University of Tokyo also found that older adults who eat a protein-rich breakfast like eggs had 40% better balance and muscle density compared to those who skipped or ate low-protein meals. It's not just about muscles, it's about independence, confidence, and quality of life. When you lose muscle, you don't just lose strength, you lose freedom. You start saying no to walks, trips, even laughter, because every move feels harder. But when you feed your muscles right, your body begins to trust itself again. You stand taller, you move easier, and suddenly, you remember what it felt like to live instead of just survive. And that's why I want to share this with you. Not as a diet trick, but as a wake-up call to everyone over 60 who thinks weakness is just part of getting old. It's not. Weakness is what happens when your muscles starve, and most of us starve them without knowing. Now, let's talk about how to do it right. Every morning, aim for at least 25 to 30 grams of protein within the first 2 hours of waking up. 2 eggs give you around 12 grams, so pair them with Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, or a handful of walnuts to hit your target. If you're plant-based, mix tofu with lentils and sprinkle some nutritional yeast for that extra boost. The key is balance. Add a little vitamin C, maybe an orange or a few berries, because it helps your body absorb protein better and fight oxidative stress. And don't forget hydration. Muscles are like sponges. They can't grow if they're dry. If you've been living on bone broth, there's nothing wrong with it. It can stay as a healing food, but it's not enough on its own. Think of bone broth as the background music to your meal, but eggs are the main instrument. I remember one woman from my community center, Ruth, who was 74 and used to struggle with standing from her chair. She told me she felt embarrassed joining group exercises because her legs would shake. I shared my egg breakfast routine with her. 2 eggs, sautéed spinach, half an avocado, and a cup of green tea. Within 6 weeks, Ruth walked into class with her chin up. She told me she climbed the stairs to her apartment for the first time in years without resting halfway. The joy in her eyes was something I'll never forget. And that's the magic of the right breakfast. It doesn't just rebuild muscle, it rebuilds your spirit. You begin to see yourself differently. You stop saying I can't and start whispering, maybe I can, until one day, you just do. My experience taught me that it's never too late to rebuild what time has taken away. Your body is waiting for you to feed it what it truly needs. And once you do, it rewards you with vitality that surprises even the doctors. In fact, a research team at the University of Copenhagen found that older adults who ate higher quality proteins like eggs and dairy retained nearly twice as much lean muscle mass compared to those who didn't, especially when they stayed active. So yes, nutrition and movement are partners in this journey. If you're listening right now and thinking, I'm too far gone, please don't believe that lie. I was there. I thought my best days were behind me, but the truth is, your body can repair itself if you give it the right tools. I remember sitting on the porch one morning, feeling the sunlight on my face, realizing I could finally stand up without pushing off the armrest. That tiny moment felt like a victory worth celebrating. That's when I knew, it's not the years that weaken us, it's neglect. You can rebuild from any age. All it takes is consistency, the right food, and belief that your strength still lives within you. And if you've come this far in this video, then maybe you're already ready to change. So let me pause for a moment and say this. From my heart, if you're finding value in this message, please take a second to like this video, subscribe to the Seniors Hub, and share it with someone you love. Because you never know, someone out there may be feeling the same weakness, the same frustration, waiting for a small piece of information that could change their life. Your share might be that spark. Now let's dive deeper for a moment, because I want you to understand how eggs work on a cellular level. Each egg contains about 6 to 7 grams of complete protein and around 500 milligrams of leucine, the amino acid that activates mTOR, the master switch for muscle growth. Without leucine, your muscles can't rebuild efficiently. That's why older adults often lose muscle even when they eat enough calories, because their meals lack the triggering nutrients. Bone broth has collagen, but collagen is poor in leucine. It's like having building materials without the blueprint. Eggs, on the other hand, give your body both the materials and the instructions. That's why after 60, your first meal matters more than any other. Breakfast sets your metabolic rhythm for the day. It determines whether your muscles will rebuild or waste away. I used to think aging meant decline, but it's actually a negotiation. Your body gives what you demand from it. Stop demanding, and it stops giving. Start feeding and moving it with purpose, and it responds with gratitude. Even at 70 or 80, your muscles listen. They just need the right message, and that message begins with what you eat at sunrise. So tomorrow morning, don't reach for that toast or that sugar-filled cereal. Crack open 2 or 3 eggs, scramble them in olive oil, add some tomatoes or spinach, and sit by the window while you eat. Feel the warmth of the sun, breathe deeply, and remind yourself that you are still rebuilding, still alive, still capable. That simple act of choosing strength over routine is what separates aging from growing older. And one more thing, I'm not telling you to give up bone broth completely. Keep it as your comfort food in the evening, but make eggs your morning ritual. Because science and experience agree, muscles grow best after sunrise, not before bedtime. It's when your hormones and energy are primed for synthesis. So feed your body when it's ready to receive. And if you want to take it further, add light resistance exercises. Do wall push-ups, seated leg raises, or simply stand on your toes for 20 seconds every hour. These small acts combined with a protein-rich breakfast form what I call the renewal habit. It's simple, powerful, and proven. I've now spent years sharing this message with seniors, and every story confirms the same truth. Your body never stops listening. One gentleman named Robert, aged 78, wrote to me saying he regained enough leg strength to dance again with his wife after 3 months of eating eggs and walking 20 minutes daily. He said, "I thought life was over for me, but now my wife says I walk like a man 20 years younger." That, my friends, is what food can do when it's used with wisdom. So the next time someone tells you that aging is about accepting weakness, smile and tell them this: no, aging is about understanding what your body really needs. You've spent a lifetime caring for others. It's time to care for yourself. Don't let myths and marketing steal your energy. Bone broth may warm your soul, but eggs will rebuild your strength. And that's the truth I learned the hard way. Before I end, remember this final thought. Your muscles are not gone. They're waiting for you to wake up, to nourish them, to remind them what strength feels like. Each bite of real food, each step you take, each morning you rise and choose life over decline, you are telling your body, I still belong here. So eat wisely, move gently, and never give up on the power of renewal. And if this message inspired you today, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video from the Seniors Hub with your loved ones. Together, we can build a community where growing older means growing stronger.